This is Carson Edwards from the Boston Celtics, and you're listening to the Boiler Breakdown podcast hosted by Tanner Lee, Evan Webb, and Andrew Eiler.
The number 12 is a guy that's going to be in there. Curtis Painter still looking for a win against a ranked team, however. In the backfield, Kory Sheets has to carry the load now with Jason Taylor out with an injury for the rest of the year. And the guy that first pass was intended for, Greg Orton, is their big play receiver. 3 receivers to the top of your screen on a second down and 10. And they give it off. On the ground is Sheets, and Kory Sheets is into the secondary. Down the sideline he goes. Sheets might take it the distance. He's gone.
Defense come up once again. Painter, this is what everybody's been talking about. Can he finish? Can he come up big at the end? The question still looms. Sheets in the backfield. The handoff. Sheets. Misdirection. Sheets towards the end zone. Kory Sheets scampers in. Touchdown Boilers.
You're listening to another edition of the Boiler Breakdown podcast. I'm your host, Tanner Lee, alongside my co-hosts, Andrew Eiler and Evan Webb. And we're very excited to have with us tonight Purdue's all-time leader in rushing touchdowns, second in rushing yards, second in career points, running back from 2005 to 2008, Kory Sheets. Kory, how are you doing this evening?
And yourself, Tanner, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
We appreciate it too.
Where are you coming to us from this evening?
Right now I'm in Tampa, Florida. That's where I've been living for the past 10 years.
Okay. So what have you been up to since your NFL career ended?
I took a few years off and pretty much did nothing, which was nice. But after that, dabbled in some acting, drove trucks for a little bit. And now I'm in school for massage therapy. Oh,
very nice. Very nice. So still getting along good with classes, even with COVID-19 going on and everything?
Oh, yeah, I'm in Florida. Floridians don't care about that COVID stuff. The beach has been open, stores have been open, bars have been open.
That's very true. A little more open than Indiana up here. So
yeah, I left town for a month in the summertime and had to realize, like, damn, like you can't go to no restaurants. Like,
yeah. We're starting to open up a little more, but we still got a little ways to go. So.
Right.
So you're originally from Manchester, Connecticut.
Yes.
And you had offers, according to the recruiting site I was looking at, from University of Connecticut, Iowa, Nebraska. What made you want to choose Purdue?
Man, they lied to me. But all jokes aside, my mother wanted to go to that school. And at the time, I thought it was an opportunity for me to play my freshman year. That was that lie. But I'm pretty sure they told everybody that.
Do you remember which coach was your lead recruiter?
Gary Emanuel.
Yeah.
And he left a year later. It was like, man, you're going to bring me here and then leave me.
Yeah, I was curious because as a running back, you were going to a school that was primarily known as a passing school.
I ain't looked that information up, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you chose Purdue. That's for sure.
Yeah, everything worked out for the best.
Yeah. But I guess a question I was going to ask you was if you expected to get a lot of playing time as a freshman. Did you know you're going in that they had Gerard Voigt and Brandon Jones?
Yeah, actually, one of the things that actually helped me make my decision was I was watching I forget what bowl game they went to the year before I came, and we lost. And not to knock those guys, but it was like I saw a place where I could fit in. Mm-hmm. So that's what I was like. All right, I could go there and probably take their spot, but
yeah.
Through politics and things, and coaches got their own plans. I was redshirted before I even stepped foot on campus. What I was told.
What was it like coming from the East Coast to West Lafayette, Indiana?
it was very different. And the one thing that I had to get used to was those horns when tornadoes are coming or they possibly could come.
You don't have tornado sirens out east?
Nah. I never forget it. The first week I was on campus, I called my mother because it was this loud horn blowing off, and like everybody ran inside. And like you could tell the guys that was the football players because we was all standing out. We all came outside like, what the hell going on?
Yeah.
where we from, we hear horns, something bad didn't happen, so you come outside to see. Nah, in Indiana, you got to go inside because something coming.
At least you didn't have to adjust to the winter at all.
Oh no, that was a little bit different. It rains. I mean, it snows a lot more. It wasn't as bad as in Connecticut, but it snows a lot more in Indiana. So
okay,
that wasn't too bad.
Okay. And what was your major at Purdue?
OLS. I like to say business management because all my classes was business management classes.
Okay.
Which y'all pretty much know.
Looking at your stats your freshman year, you had 104 carries for 571 yards and 10 touchdowns, which led the team. The team went 5-7. Do any particular games or any moments stick out more so than others during your freshman season?
My first carry against Notre Dame, I forget how many yards. It was like 60 or 70 yards. I should have just kept running instead of diving because I probably would have scored. And then Gerard fumbled the very next play.
I remember that. I do remember that. Yeah.
And like I was sitting there like, damn, you trying to be a highlight and get a picture. I messed up.
If I remember right, he tried to go up over the top. And the guy just knocked the ball out. And
he lost the ball before he even went up.
Okay. But
that was the story we told everybody, but we looked at it on film. It was like, bro, you lost it when you was going up. It after, like, nah.
And that shifted all the momentum and everything. I think that was Purdue's.
That was like the turning point.
Yep.
And we never gained no more momentum after that happened.
That was Purdue's first night game in many, many years. So, yeah. Yep.
That was one moment. And then when I finally got the go-ahead to take over my Indiana game, Gerard got hurt, and it was all me.
It was all you. Wearing number 40 at the time before you switched to 24. Was there anything behind switching numbers there?
Oh, no. 40 does not look good on me. It's significant at the school, which I can't learn and understand that. But I didn't want to go out with the 40 on my back.
Definitely understandable.
Yeah.
But you guys were you had high expectations going into 2005, and like I said, a lot of close losses turned into a 5-7 season. Then you had some key defenders jump to the pros. So then coming back to 2006, you end up with 158 carries for 780 yards, 11 touchdowns, which also led the team. Team had a little better year going 8-6, ultimately losing to Maryland in the Champs Sports Bowl. You guys started off 4-0 that year, but then kind of hit a wall in Big Ten play a little bit.
In my opinion, I felt like if you look at the way the games was going, and you just look at the stats, you can see that my carries decreased during those games. So it was like once the offense stopped circulating around me and they started doing pass first, pass second, instead of run first, then pass, or use the run to set up the pass, the game started going away from us. We couldn't control it as like we wanted to. That was always my argument in the locker room.
Yeah, looking at the scores, it looked like, the games were gettable because the defense was playing pretty well, keeping the opponents down to low scoring, but just couldn't produce any points.
Too much field time for the defense. There's one thing that I come to learn, that the less the defense plays during the season, the better your chances are of winning the championship.
Very well said. What do you remember about that game at Hawaii? That's interesting because at that time, nobody played 13 games in a regular season.
We got our ass kicked. But the score wouldn't reflect it, though. But I also remember that what's that chant they do before the game?
Oh yeah, the rugby, like Was it like the rugby chant? Did they do that? Is that what?
The Samoan thing, the Rock always.
Yeah.
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 That was my first time like ever seeing that experience. Like I never even heard of it before. We sitting there stretching, and all of a sudden they come out there looking like they was ready to go to war. And like it caught our eye. Like we stopped stretching and everything. Like what the hell is going on? Like and the crazy thing about it, they didn't stretch. Like after they finished, they went and got ready. Like they ran they plays, and then we played the game. It was like they not here to do the same thing we here to do. Like
Yeah.
But it was a fun game, honestly.
Was the climate unlike anything you ever played in? I mean,
No, it was actually a beautiful day. Like, it wasn't too hot. It wasn't too cold. It wasn't real sunny. Like it was a beautiful day out. That was one thing I do remember.
what is probably the hottest climate you ever played in? Was it at Arizona game your freshman year?
No, that wasn't that hot.
That wasn't too bad.
I want to say it was a game at Purdue.
Yeah, some of those early fall games still be hot and
like
humid.
Like a Ball State game or something like that.
Yeah.
It was hot out there.
I remember going to games early fall, those first couple of games, non-conference, and it being 90 and humid and just being kind of real miserable.
Because the Arizona game, we played like later in the day, so the sun went down.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't that bad. Remember, that's all they talked about.
One of your highlight games in 2006 was a 4 touchdown performance against Miami, Ohio, which was in 5.
I had a receiving touchdown too.
Okay, I had the rushing. That was my fault. I had the rushing touchdowns written down. So, which was Purdue's first ever overtime game at Ross State Stadium. So that had to be kind of unique to play in, I guess.
At the time, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But after the fact, I was glad we won.
Oh, sure. Never want to lose to a MAC school.
Yeah, especially in your first overtime, and you got to win that one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2007, you guys started off really hot. You started off 5-0, and were ranked number 23 at the time with Ohio State coming in. That's actually the last time Purdue's been ranked. Yeah, it's been 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we have the longest streak in Division I, unfortunately. Not good streak to have.
No.
But you guys then bounced back after losing to Ohio State. We're 7-2 with 3 games left. Looking like if you can squeak out a few, you probably head to Pasadena, even though Ohio State was going to be headed to the championship. Then you lost at Penn State, Michigan State at home and then at Indiana. But yourself, you had 168 carries for 859 yards, 11 touchdowns, which once again led the team. So 3 years in a row, you lead the team in touchdowns. Got to think you're going to start. Yeah.
Read the ball more.
Does anything stick out to you coming down the stretch that year with those 3 games left?
What you said, 2007?
Yeah, so your junior year.
The climate in the locker room was like, yeah, we're going home early this year, so let's hurry and get the hell up out of here. Try not to get hurt.
I want to say I could be mistaken, but I want to say Dorian Bryant made a comment when you guys were 7-2 and kind of said he wasn't too worried about the next 3 games. You know, we're not going to lose the next 3 or something like that, and then you guys end up dropping the next 3 and backdooring yourselves in Detroit.
I don't remember that one. If he did say something, that's not surprising. Dorian did some wild things in the media.
I think he said something like, we want to make sure we don't lose the next 3 and end up in Detroit. And then that's what happened. I think that was kind of the quote.
That right there sounds something like he would say. It's not surprising. Dorian was a loose cannon. But I wasn't too far behind him.
Yeah, but you guys are talented players. You could do that. I mean,
hey, the talent to toleration level.
Yeah.
But you guys did win the bowl game in a shootout with Central Michigan, who had Antonio Brown and J.J. Watt on their roster at the time.
You think back on it,
JJ was playing some tight end. I think they had him at the wrong position up there, but
they figured that out.
Yeah, they figured it out. Wisconsin figured that out when he got there. But then going into your senior year, what was your mindset going into your senior year? You know, it's your last year. You want to impress the scouts to go to the next level. what was the mindset of yourself and the team going into that year?
Honestly, was to be more consistent or to stay consistent like I was and always been, because I knew I was about to be getting the ball a little bit more, which was what I always wanted, and I wanted to basically back up my words.
And you definitely got your most carries in your career by far, 234 in 2008, and you went over the 1,000-yard mark with 1,131 rushing yards and 16 touchdowns, which is still a Purdue single-season rushing touchdown record, I believe.
Hey, let's go.
But you guys did struggle 4-8 that year, which ended up being Joe Tiller's last year. And I guess you guys knew that going into that year that was going to be Joe's last year. Did that have an effect on everybody's?
Some may say it might have, but others it won't. But because we played that season, like it was our last too, because we was leaving.
Yeah,
so we wasn't really worried about it being Joe's last year because it was our last year. So we wanted to make sure we went out on top as well.
And who are some of the other players in your graduating class, in your recruiting class?
Damn, making me think now. Desmond Tardy, Cliff Averill, Dorian Bryant, Torrey Williams. What other guys?
So I know Curtis graduated in 2008. Painter. Yeah, I didn't know if he redshirted or not. Okay.
Yeah, those are all guys that came in with us, but a couple guys left early. A couple guys stayed a little longer.
Do you still keep in touch with any of your former teammates at all?
I actually live in town, like 30 minutes from Desmond. He's out in IMG coaching.
Yeah.
And then Torrey is in Tampa with me.
Okay.
Nice.
And he lives not too far from me. We see each other quite a bit.
Very cool.
Good.
And then the core guys you hang out with and you graduated with, you still talk to from time to time, keep it with the family, all the good things.
Sure. Do you have any good Curtis Painter stories that you can share, I guess?
Not offhand that I could think about.
Okay.
That'd be cool to share with you guys.
How about any Joe Tiller stories?
Oh, man, Joe. I remember Joe used to fall asleep at practice sometimes. Actually, no, I can't give you one if I was Joe and Curtis. So Joe used to fall asleep sometimes, like later in the season. And Painter wanted to wake him up one day. So we ran a play where it was just everybody ran goals and he was just going to overthrow us. And that was pretty hard for the speed that we had in that backfield and his arm. But he did. Painter was pretty accurate. The ball landed very close to Tiller's go-kart. It woke his ass up.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
What was the
Nope, go ahead.
What was the dynamic like that last year? Because you knew Tiller was on his way out, and obviously Danny Hope was already there. I guess what was the coaching dynamic like with one guy was leaving, one guy was kind of Hope trying to already push his game plan, or what was going on with that year?
Nah, not really. This still was Tiller's show. We Hope more so. You could see him working with the old linemen just a little bit more. The guys that want to be there the next year. That was one thing I noticed, which I didn't mind because it got them better for me.
Sure, yeah.
So that was one thing I did notice.
Yeah. How about your last college game? I mean, whooping up on IU is probably a good way to go out, right?
Oh yeah, you can't lose that game. You can go 0-9, but if you win that last game against IU and bring home the bucket or keep the bucket where it's supposed to be, then you did a job.
Yeah. Makes it okay, yeah.
Somewhat better.
Oh yeah. You never want to lose that, and it had to be a good feeling for the seniors to go across that sidelines and get it back, since you guys.
Definitely. And a couple of things I remember from that was it wasn't even so much the game. It was coming out with Purdue Pete and the Hammer. Mm-hmm. I always said I wanted to do that, but Tiller never allowed it, and I made me allow it that day.
Yeah, sure.
And then banging on the drum at the end of it after we went and ransacked and took the bucket over and holding up on the student section and then bringing it to the family section.
Yeah.
Did you know much about the rivalry at all before you got to Purdue, or what was kind of your first introduction to the Old Oak and Bucket rivalry?
Seeing it in the visit, they told me about it. I thought it was just like a rickety old bucket, like it was an ornament. I was wondering why it was in a trophy case, like. And then they told me the story about it, and I still didn't really like get the gist of it until I actually came in and heard the stories about the games and the actual history behind the bucket. But I more so knew about the shillelagh and the Notre Dame.
Sure.
I ain't like them guys.
Oh, I can't stand them. So, what was your favorite stadium to play in?
Ooh, we only went there once, Wisconsin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we only went there one time. We lost, but I had a good time in the game. Like, the crowd. I remember one time I was on the field and I was just watching the crowd do whatever they was doing. Payne to smack me in the chest, like, pay attention. Like they practice this stuff. They come to find out they do, or they did back then.
We were interviewing former Purdue kicker and punter Travis Dorsch, and he also said that was his favorite. He said that and Beaver Stadium, Penn State, were his two.
Oh, when the crowd noise. I learned about that at Penn State. Actually, sitting there talking to Dorian, we're shoulder to shoulder our freshman year. We didn't play, but we traveled, and I had a whole conversation with him. He never heard a word I said. I looked over like, right? He was like, what?
That's what Travis was saying. He said, as a specialist, he said the ground would literally shake under his feet.
Yeah,
when he was trying to.
You can feel the sounds like vibrating in your ears.
Pressure,
The pressure is crazy.
What was it like playing at Notre Dame?
Depends if you was winning or losing.
Sure.
Or when it close games, it was pretty quiet in there, which was great to see, great to hear. And when you're losing or it's a close game, it's a wild place to be in.
Well, you're also a member of the last Purdue team to beat Notre Dame, which was 2007, because they won every game from 08 to 14, and now we haven't played them for 6 years. So,
wow.
Yeah, just to put it in perspective. So,
dislocated my shoulder that game.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, they had me on the cover of the newspaper, like. He's like, really? That's the picture y'all going?
Yeah. In a win, you put a picture of somebody getting hurt. Come on.
Yeah.
What was it like playing with Dustin Keller?
It was fun.
Yeah.
He was a silly guy. So like, but he's also serious. Like when you needed to, but he knew how to cut the tension at times. So he was a fun guy to play with. You always knew what to expect from him.
And I know you've played with a lot of talented guys during your career at Purdue, but who would you say is the most talented player you got to play with?
Most talented player? Between Dorian Bryan and Cliff Averill, if you want to call it that. He was on defense.
Sure.
Yeah, those are probably the two guys I was excited to watch play.
Yeah, they were both fun to watch every Saturday. Who would you?
Right there with you though. We had a lot of fun watching you.
Like, if I didn't have the ball and Dorian had it, if I couldn't get a block, it was cool to watch him do his thing. And then on defense, watching Cliff go from linebacker to DN, it was an amazing transition.
Yeah, and then seeing him have the great success he'd had at the next level was pretty cool too.
Made the right choices.
Who was the best player you played against?
I'm gonna be honest with you, and it sounds like I admit now because it don't mean nothing. But I was horrible at watching the film and watching the scouting reports. Like I didn't know guys that I was playing against because they ain't mean no. But y'all gotta stop me. I'm not worried about y'all.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah. That's the mindset you gotta have.
Do your job. And they can't do anything anyway. It's not gonna matter. Right?
I was horrible with that. So like I didn't meet guys until being in the NFL. I'm like, hey, you remember this game? Like, nah. It was like, I only remember you out there. And they showed me a video or something like, yeah, I remember I been talking to you and you ain't catch me.
I didn't know if maybe there was a guy that had a couple tackles in the same game against you or
hard.
something. Yeah.
Actually, a friend of mine, his name is Chris Baker. He played against me in high school, and then he went to Penn State, and then we played against each other in our first preseason games in NFL. So that was one guy I kind of remember because I seen him all the way from high school all the way up to the league.
Yeah, he's a good one. I mean, I would say anybody who transitions to the NFL, pretty good choice probably. So
Right.
Before we talk about your career post Purdue, I got a few more Purdue questions here for you. What was the most memorable game at Purdue for you?
Oregon, and then probably there's a few of them. Oregon, the Ball State game, the Michigan game, where I scored 5 touchdowns. My last IU game, my first IU game. They all rank up there pretty high with me.
Yeah, you picked all the good ones. Oregon, you had the 80-yard touchdown on the first series. The Michigan game was a hook and ladder play late in the game. Desmond Tardy scored, and of
we
course,
partied so hard after that game. Boy, after that, you would have thought we won the ship after that game. Boy.
Oh yeah, beat Michigan, beat Rich Rodriguez, who, of course, Purdue didn't like very much. So
yeah. That was a good win right there.
What was your most memorable play?
It had to be Central Michigan, where I shook the guy and they made the top 10.
Oh yeah, if you don't score there, we don't win the game. So
exactly, and then it came off like when the play was called, it was like, "Y'all about to run the? We about to run the ball?" Like, nah, they joking. He looked at me like, "Yeah, like all right, what the hell with it?" Then it opened up, like it was like, "Oh, this is lovely."
You made that guy. Yeah, he broke his ankles. Literally, he was.
I actually ran into him in, I want to say, the CFL.
Okay.
And we had a conversation about that play. It was a good conversation for me.
Oh, sure. You have to remind him about it. I mean,
I'm surprised he wanted to talk to you about that.
It was just so, it was crazy because it was like we were talking about it. We were just talking about college, and I was like, "Where'd you go?" And he was like, "Central Michigan." I was like, "Damn, I used to bust their ass." Like he kind of like put his head down, and I was like, "Wait, what position you played?" And then he's like, "It was me."
You have to say anything more.
Yeah, I ain't gonna make you fish it out of me. It was me.
Oh, that's great. That's great. What's one game you wish you guys had back at Purdue? What was one loss that kind of
Oregon?
Yeah,
because if you give me the ball, and I believe I score for a drop pass.
Yeah, that was that double overtime loss. Yeah, that was a tough one. Yep, could have changed the whole season around. Really, looking back at it,
I think it would have kept us on the highlight.
Yep. And then after your career at Purdue, you went undrafted. Now, did you get an invite to the combine or no?
Yes.
You did.
I placed like top 3 or top 4 in pretty much everything, which was surprising that I went undrafted. It was like, was y'all at the same combine I was at?
I'm presuming you were talking to a lot of teams though leading up to the draft.
Yeah, I had quite a few interviews, but they ain't called me when the time was right.
Then you ended up signing with the San Francisco 49ers. What was appealing to them over some other teams?
Outside of they offered the most money. It was my favorite team growing up. So once they got the call, it was between the Jets, Green Bay, and the 49ers. It was like for damn sure not going to Green Bay. Which I probably should have because my blood father, he played for Green Bay Packers. So I probably would have got the legacy treatment up there if I would have went there, but I ain't know no better. but growing up and playing for your favorite team is always the ideal plan. So even though I didn't get drafted, I was still there.
Yeah, that's a dream come true for you. And he went to the place with the warmest weather. I mean, makes sense to me.
Exactly.
So then after the Niners, you ended up with the Dolphins, which you got your one career carry for 5 yards before sustained an injury eventually with the Dolphins. And then you went to the Carolina Panthers. And then you went up to the CFL when you had a lot of success up there for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Your stats up there, you had in 2012, you had 229 carries for 1,277 yards, 11 touchdowns. 2013, 287 carries for 1,598 yards and 12 touchdowns. And you guys won a Grey Cup, which you were the MVP in that game.
Yes.
So what was it like playing in Canada, and what were the differences between the CFL and the NFL?
Oh man. Well, let me first off with the differences because that's just show the list. The offense get to be in motion at all times.
Okay.
And you get a running head start from anywhere on the field. If you do go offside, you can run it back and they won't throw a flag.
Interesting.
If you fumble, you don't have to recover the ball as long as you're the last person to touch it when it goes out of bounds.
Interesting. Okay.
Let's say I have a long run and somebody's getting ready to tackle me. If I'm able to kick the ball into the end zone and one of my teammates recovers it first, that's a touchdown.
Wow.
It's either a touchdown or it's like 2 points or something like that. But it's something crazy like that.
You get rewarded for it at least.
Yeah, you get rewarded for it. Like the defense is off the ball a yard. So say the ball's on the inch line, on the goal line. The defense is a yard into the end zone. So all you got to do is go forward, touchdown.
Yeah.
The goal post is in the front of the end zone post. The back.
I knew that. Yeah.
It'd be terrifying if you run a route across the middle. I feel like you have to look out. Yeah.
that happens more often than not. It's actually a play like we run like is a rug play instead of you run both the defenders from the opposite side. Now, mind you, you're already running at top speed when you get to them.
Yeah.
And you're rubbing with 2 players plus the goal post. Somebody's getting open.
Oh man.
Then what other the field's longer and wider. There's an extra guy on each side of the field. What else? There's a few.
Did you like the rule changes? Did it take a while to figure it out and kind of get used to it, or did you kind of take to it and it's like it's just football, let's go?
No, because honestly, I was asking the same question y'all are saying. I was asking my coach on the very first phone call we had, and he simplified it just like this for me. Once the ball snaps, it's football.
Yeah.
No, nothing else change. It's football. And for me, you will never got to worry about going offside. So you get good money. That's all you need to worry about, and that's all I cared about. So,
what were the fans like up there?
Oh my God, I lucked up, I believe, and went to the right city. So the fans are crazy. If you've ever been to a Green Bay Packer game or a Penn State game, fans are equal to that. And going to another country, for a lot of guys that go up there just on the whim, you go up there pretty much broke. So having a city that takes care of their players on and off the field was a big help. Like I had people pull up next to me while I was walking down the street and ask me if I needed a ride home or needed a ride to go to the grocery store. Like they take care of you like that.
It probably helps too that you were one of the better players. You end up being the MVP of the Grey Cup. I mean, you can probably go up there right now.
That has perks.
You can probably go up there right now and drink for free. That's what I'm hearing. So.
Oh yeah, I do. Let's say last time I was up there, they opened a bar for me that had been closed for like an hour and a half. So,
that's awesome. That's
like
awesome.
The people they was like, "Are you serious? Like, you really want to come drink right now?" I'm like, "Look, I've been running around doing interviews all damn day, and y'all told me to come down here. I'm here." It was like, "All right, fuck it, come on." It was like the kitchen's closed, but don't worry about it. You can drink all you want. That's all I need.
That's all you need. That's all you need to hear.
Right.
Now, were you teammates with Ricky Williams up there for a little bit?
You want to hear something funny? I was on the team for about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks before I realized I was on the team with Ricky Williams.
Really?
Yes. It's like a lot of people don't know this. His name is actually Eric.
Did
I
not
did
know.
not know that.
And the name Ricky came from his mother. She used to call him Rick. So they kind of just stuck with him.
Interesting.
So, in the locker room, when I came, it was a bye week. So we don't really, and Ricky, he didn't talk to me for the first week, honestly. but he does that with everybody. So it wasn't that new. And his locker was on the other side of the locker room, so I wasn't like running up to his locker room seeing it was Ricky. It would just say Williams or whatever, or Art Williams. And I never just dawned on me it was Ricky Williams. Then the first game, I'm sitting there, standing there, and I'm reading this back of his jersey, and it says Art Williams. I look at the number, and I look at my fullback like, is this Ricky Williams? I'm in the game. He looks at me. It's like, where the hell you been? I was like, what you mean? I call him man Eric. How am I supposed to know his name Ricky? Like, I'm just thinking it's Eric. Eric, and he don't talk to me, so like,
I'd always heard he's a pretty silent guy.
Yeah, he has a lot to speak, but it's just he doesn't speak to everybody. That he doesn't know you. Once he warms up to you, abundance of knowledge.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you learn anything from him that you could put into your running style?
I would say the main thing that helped me up there was things they call slow through, fast through, and the way they explained it to me was I was a fast guy. I was real quick, so I was always hitting the hole too fast. So in college, they teach you to hit it as hard as you can, 100 miles an hour. NFL is a little bit different. Everything works off timing. You need the O-line set up their blocks, get on their blocks and shed blocks to get to a second level and things like that. So you can't necessarily be running 100 miles an hour. Right. And I didn't perfect it until I got to Canada. Okay. And it took me about a season, or maybe a half a season to perfect it up there. And seeing that we had 20 games we played, I had a few moments to practice it.
Yeah, just a couple. Yeah, that's a long season. Wow.
It actually goes by pretty fast though. Because like you're over Thanksgiving is championship. You're going home by then.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. When you put in that perspective, I can see that. Yeah.
Like right now, they'd be almost halfway through the season.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it goes by quick.
Then after all your success up in Canada, the Raiders come calling. Then you join the Raiders, having a promising preseason, then another injury.
Yeah, I honestly walked off. It was crazy that I had my last game in Green Bay too. I tried to avoid that place so much and it still ended my career there. I walked off that field and was like, yeah, somebody told me I don't need to be playing football. So
yeah, just too many injuries because
it wasn't even too many. It was literally 2 injuries. And it was the same injury once I made it that point to where, all right, you have a start position. And Miami had just gotten a starting job for the kick returner. And Oakland, they had just bumped me up to running with the 1s and 2s. Head coach walked off. He was like, damn, you was on the team. Like, don't tell me that now. Yeah. I'm going on
IR. Who was the head coach of the Raiders at that time?
I forget now. I wasn't there long enough. They say he wasn't there long enough neither. Like they fight.
See, I'm a Broncos fan, so I'm trying to think back who some of the Raiders coaches were. But
I want to say he's an offensive coordinator for somebody. Who's the offensive coordinator for
Dennis Allen? Is that right? I just Googled.
Yeah, it is Dennis Allen.
Yeah, he was
for the Saints.
Yep, D coordinator for the Saints. Yep. Yeah. He was there like maybe 2 years. Maybe.
Yeah, they did him there like
they did
from the flight from London. Like they was with him for like at least 10 hours. He got home and shot him a text like
gave him the Lane Kiffin treatment.
Right, like you sit next to him for 10 hours. You couldn't have told me then. Like
oh man. Well, that's
the business.
That is the business. You're right. So, got a few more questions here for you. What was your favorite restaurant to eat around Purdue?
Qdoba.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, Qdoba and Love Shack.
Love Shack. Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite bar at Purdue?
Brothers.
Okay. Yeah, one of the few that's still there.
It is?
Yeah.
I have to get back in a while. I actually was supposed to go back this it's off season for the spring game. But
Oh, really?
yeah,
Thanks, COVID.
right. Yeah.
Next year, hopefully, or this. Well, hey, you might go back hopefully this spring for a real game.
Right. I won't be too mad about that though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they shut Jake's down. There's rumors of the Cactus is shutting down, so it's crazy.
That better just be a rumor.
I was about to say, is Love Shack still there?
I've never heard of that, so
It was literally across the street. So you make that turn. Well, I don't even know if you make that turn into the parking lot. But it was the restaurant right across the street from Brothers.
okay, so yes,
Yeah, it was wasn't it Vaughn's Love Shack? Was that what it's called?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was there for a couple of years when I was there, and then I think it closed in 2012 or 13, I think.
Okay.
Well, show my age.
What else? Ooh, I had another one. Oh, do you still keep up with Purdue football?
After I stopped playing, I went through a little period of depression. So I kind of just shut football off. I actually shut all sports off. I wasn't watching nothing. But past I say 2 years, I've been trying to keep up with them a little bit. And I was actually excited to go see them play this year in the spring game, and then hopefully catch a few games during the season. But we all know that it went. But I've been trying to keep up with them. I was looking forward to seeing more come back.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know. When I was coming off of injury, I had a lot to prove on the field, so I was kind of excited to see that. But I think he did what's best for him,
absolutely,
and his family. Because the league is going to be different next year.
You're right. Yeah,
it's going to be weird. The evaluation process is going to have to be different. So,
That
plays into his talents.
And he was one of the first, but there's numerous others that have kind of made that same choice, and it's just not worth the risk. And we totally get it. It seems like the right decision for him.
If it don't work out, they got that program. You come back to the league, come back to school, get your little degree, and if that's what you want to do. Because the way the world nowadays, if you know coding, you don't need no degree.
Yeah. Good point. Evan, Andrew, you got anything else you want to ask before I ask him the last question here?
I was curious. You said you were coming back for the spring game. Was that the coaching staff? I guess who set that up? Did you kind of seek that out, or did they seek you out to kind of try to bring you back to get you back on campus and be a part of the program again, or bigger part?
I think I had got something in an email from somebody. I can't remember who it was. Talking about the spring game. And I was like, damn, you know what? It has been a while since I've been back. Like, I think this is the year I should probably come back. Plus, there's a running back there I wanted to talk to. Like, I like his game. I just can't think of his name right now.
King Doru.
Yeah, that.
The freshman. Yeah, he was a freshman last year. Yeah, that was one I. Yeah, that's
wanted to talk to him. I wanted to talk to him about his game. I like his game.
Good, yeah.
Awesome.
They have an East Coast running back that should have been a true freshman this year from New York called his name's Tyreek Murphy. He's one to keep an eye on too going forward.
Okay. I'm going to check him out.
Yeah, East Coast running back there. So Evan, anything else?
No. Every question I had.
All right. So this question is a weird one, but it's one I've literally asked every guest we've ever had, and I usually get the same answer. But is a hot dog considered a sandwich?
Hey, I heard this question the other day. I was like, kind of technically.
Okay.
Because if you think about it, like when you open up a sub, it's the same thing.
Yeah. See, I had a new one. I had a new one that somebody said this weekend. I heard it, and they said, no, it's a taco, and I'd never heard that. And I'm like, I guess because it's like folded, it's got meat in the middle. It's the same thing like a taco, I guess. I'm like, oh, I kind of get it, but
no, it ain't a taco.
Yeah, see, that's
it's a corn shell or corn wrap.
Yeah.
It's some with corn. We talk about I say kind of.
Okay, that's fair enough. Because I've always said it's in its own category. That and a bratwurst, they're kind of just
it's a hot dog. Like you know what comes with a hot dog. Like you want to sandwich 2 pieces of bread. Like
Yep, exactly. Exactly. Well, hey, Kory, where can all the fans follow you at on social media?
Everything is the same. I try to keep it consistent like that. It's Sheets 24K on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter.
Easy enough to remember. So,
there you go. The big three.
Well, hey, Kory, we really appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us and do this interview, and best of luck in your future endeavors.
No problem. Thank you for having me. It was fun.
Appreciate it.
Yep. Boiler up, hammer down.
Boiler up. There you go.